Have you ever found yourself endlessly scrolling through Instagram, admiring the work of countless artists, each with their own unique art style? You admire their variety, realism, semi-realism, anime and more, only to feel frustrated when you can't seem to develop a style of your own? If this sounds familiar, don't worry. Everyone faces this stage in their art journey. Now, I'm sure you have already read the title, so let's stop yapping and get straight to the point. Stop actively looking for your art style. Yes, you have heard it right. But isn't that counterintuitive? No, because your art style won't appear overnight, no matter how hard you try to force it. For some of you, this might already be familiar advice, but I'm sure some people out there getting frustrated about which style to choose really need to hear this. Let me clarify once more. Stop actively looking for your art style. An art style isn't something you find or invent in a single moment. It's something that develops naturally over time, evolving as you create hundreds or even thousands of artworks. Let me clarify this a bit further. Sure, you can mimic someone else's style, and many people do. Take anime art as an example. There are countless artists out there who replicate the anime style, and that's fine if it's what you enjoy. But if you want a style that's truly your own, it takes more than copying someone else. Just simply being a Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V art machine won't bring you closer to this goal. It requires you to mix and match, pick elements from different styles that appeal to you, experiment with them, and combine them in new ways. This is how a unique art style begins to form. As for doing so, I recommend you to copy and study many different artists. Keep the things you like and ditch the stuff you don't like. And yes, this process takes time, a lot of time. But remember, art isn't a race, it's a marathon. There's no deadline to meet when it comes to crafting a style you're happy with. So give yourself the freedom to grow and explore without any pressure. Man, no one cares if your style is unique. Art styles can be copied easily, and then all your uniqueness is lost. Remember that the people are always watching because of you and your personality, not because of your style. The fear of not being unique enough or not being recognized without a distinctive style can surely be overwhelming, and it's natural to think that developing an art style quickly is the key to success. But here's the truth. There are countless skilled artists with stunning, unique styles who still don't have a massive following. The number of likes, shares or comments you get isn't a measure of how good or unique your art is. You need to let go of the idea that good art equals popularity. Focus on your journey and your growth rather than the numbers. Your art style will expand and evolve naturally as you continue creating. You will find certain stylizations that intrigue you, borrow aspects of them and incorporate them into your own work. For instance, I once came across an artist who exaggerated the forearms in an interesting way, so I implemented it into my own drawings. I also found this method of stylizing the calf muscles and incorporated that too. These things didn't come to me on a whim. They developed through studying many different artists and mixing things together. And who knows, the style I'm using right now might look completely different in a few years. And that's the beauty of it. Your style will keep evolving as you grow. But here's something important to remember. Once you've developed an art style, don't let yourself get too comfortable with it. It's easy to stick with what you know and stay inside your comfort zone. And while that might feel easy, it can limit your growth in the long run. Let's talk about a term you might have heard of: same face syndrome. It refers to when an artist's characters all have nearly identical faces, differing only in their hair, clothes or accessories. This is something you can spot very often in the anime art style, and while it's not inherently bad, it can make your work feel repetitive and less dynamic. To counter this, let's take an inspiration from Eiichiro Oda, the man behind One Piece. Personally, I think that his style captures the fundamental skill of experimenting with your art style perfectly. Characters come in so many shapes and forms that it never gets boring, and this gives his style a really recognizable look. He experiments a lot and therefore comes up with characters most people would never think of. Simply said, don't treat your art style as a precious thing that can't be changed. Try out new things, whether it's through creating weird body types or something else, and just don't get stuck on old habits. You should never stop to move forward. Just because you have an art style now doesn't mean your learning is over. At this point, it might sound like I'm making art styles seem like a hassle or something to avoid, but that's not the case at all. Art styles are definitely worth the effort. They are an important part of your artistic identity. The problem is when people stress too much about finding a style, as if it's the only thing that makes their work valuable. Your style will come, but it shouldn't be your sole focus. That said, having a recognizable art style does have its benefits, especially when it comes to building a brand. Take Sam Does Arts as an example. His style is probably one of the most recognizable ones out there, and if you see someone else drawing in a style similar to his, you can't help yourself but immediately think of Sam, which speaks to the strength of his style and therefore his brand. But here's the thing, Sam didn't create his style entirely on his own. He was heavily inspired by Disney, and through adapting and mixing it with his own preferences, he developed something unique and recognizable. So here's the takeaway. Don't rush the process. Instead, focus on learning, exploring, and experimenting. Study the work of other artists, take note of the elements you love, and try them in your own art. Over time, your art style will develop naturally, and it will be a true reflection of your journey as an artist. At the end, art is a continuous journey with no destination. Just embrace the process, enjoy the growth, and let your style find you. Peace.